Hello, this is Chris Sietzema from the team at Convince and Convert, talking about Reddit in this WEBININE. WEBININEs are our short-form webinars that last around 9 minutes. So with that premise in mind, let's jump right in. Reddit is a social media or news sharing site that was founded or started up back in 2005. They were purchased by Condé Nast in 2006, but have been operationally independent since 2011. Over the past year or so, you can see by the chart, they've garnered a lot more traffic and interest from the general public. Reddit is basically a social news site. People can place different images, news articles, videos, and then content is kind of determined, the popularity of the content is determined by the masses, so people can upvote that content on the Reddit website. Reddit is basically a translation to submit for approval, and subreddits are actually categories within Reddit in which you can group posts and news information by topic. Think of the same thing in Twitter, you have hashtags. Users can submit content to individual subreddits, and anyone can create a subreddit. We're going to talk more about subreddits in just a moment. Primary uses of Reddit are basically to gather news, to share content, and to spot trends. Who uses Reddit? Well, Reddit's kind of almost the antithesis of Pinterest, where Pinterest is predominantly female. Reddit is comprised mainly of, well, dudes. It's about 72% male. It skews a little bit younger with some college education, and it actually represents the lower income bracket. Sites similar to Reddit include StumbleUpon, Dig, Technorati, and Imgur. In fact, a number of the photos and images that are posted to Reddit are actually hosted on Imgur. A little bit more about subreddits. Again, these are the categories in which you can organize information by topic or by brand. Now, anyone can create a topic for discussion or a subreddit. They can be created by brands or fans of brands. So if you are a brand yourself thinking about getting into Reddit, you might want to check first, because you might have a fan or someone who follows your brand closely who's already created a subreddit and is actually hosting discussion there. They're a pretty good channel for customer service and interaction with fans. They provide some customization in which you can provide information with respect to links. You can do a little bit of branding on your subreddit page and provide moderator names and other contact information. So here's an example of a subreddit for Android. As you can see, they've got some branding on the upper left and in the right-hand column, and in that column they've got different links for example, rules of engagement, something you see quite often on Facebook pages as well. They've got an FAQ section to answer common questions and things that come up quite a bit, and they've got other relevant subreddits that might be of interest to those in the community, plus some additional links. Let's talk about upvotes, and those are basically a way for the community to say, I like this post, or this post is worthwhile. People can upvote content if they have a Reddit account, which basically requires a username and an email. And basically upvotes determine where the content is going to reside and whether it's going to get to the front page of Reddit or higher up on a page within a subreddit. Karma is basically a status for those on Reddit. The more karma you have, the more clout you have within the Reddit community. You lose karma when people downvote your Reddits or your comments, and you gain it obviously when people upvote your comments and the content you submit. Individuals or people who have Reddit accounts have their own pages, which basically records all of their activity on Reddit, including posts they've submitted, comments they've submitted, and there's also different tabs where you can see just posts submitted in a separate tab. Reddit users can garner little badges or awards and trophies based on specific accomplishments. There are specific days or holidays within Reddit in which you can earn a badge to commemorate a special occasion. Reddit Gold is actually something that should be considered by those who are thinking about getting more involved in the community and might think about creating their own branded subreddit, just to make sure that you can manage the process a little bit better. But basically it hides ads and shows more comments on the page, and new comments are highlighted, but Reddit Gold is a special feature. It's a small fee of $3 a month. One very interesting characteristic of the Reddit community is that they tend to have their own vernacular. They use a lot of acronyms, and so it's important to be involved if you're going to be involved in the community and be an authentic, real contributor to the community, to really know the lingo and utilize some of these acronyms. So I'm not going to read all of them off here because we've only got 9 minutes, as you know, but here's a few of the most popular acronyms that are used on Reddit. One of the features on Reddit that's garnered a lot of attention, primarily because the president a couple months ago got involved in it, was the Ask Me Anything sessions, in which anyone, but predominantly celebrities and people of in the public eye, basically open themselves up to questions in a free-form scenario in which you can basically ask someone anything. So some popular people who have done some of the Ask Me Anything sessions are Bill Nye the Science Guy, Jimmy Kimmel, some political folks, and even Captain Planet. Again, anyone can host an Ask Me Anything session. Basically, there is a subreddit called the IMA subreddit, and you can basically state your name and then follow with AMA, Ask Me Anything. And one of the requirements is you must submit 5 relevant questions in the post text, just to let people know what the context of the session is all about. Reddit does have an area where you can actually request an AMA if you've got a celebrity or if you represent someone of interest for your PR or advertising agency. But there's a lot more about Reddit rules from that link. But again, anyone can do an Ask Me Anything session. There's a lot of interest, obviously, for people who provide customer service. So one of the most popular ones last week was someone who said, "I am a Comcast customer service rep. Ask me anything," and it had a lot of traction. One of the key things to remember with Reddit is to keep it simple, and in this case, keep it short. There's definitely an inverse relationship between post length and upvote likelihood. People move around very quickly when they're reviewing information and news on Reddit, and it's important to keep that in mind. Just like Facebook, photos and videos seem to do pretty well, and you can see an example of that type of post. But an interesting thing here is you can see that there's 829 people who upvoted this particular link with 191 comments, but the video itself only had 303 views at the time. So it's interesting to see how quickly people move and how short their attention span is, not only on the internet, but especially on Reddit. Other things to keep in mind in terms of creating content. Again, photos seem to do pretty well in terms of providing something that people are going to upvote or comment on. Content should be placed in the most relevant subreddit if possible. Remember that younger male audience. Similar to Wikipedia, there are some pretty rigorous standards by the moderators and by the community in general, so it's important to remain absolutely factual with all the content that you produce. Not a lot of opinions are expressed. It's again, factual news. And then another important thing, similar to Pinterest, that all the links on Reddit are do follow. So there are definitely some SEO benefits to engaging on the Reddit network. Reddit advertising is available to anyone who has an account. The ads look like the snippet below with a small square logo and some text. Just like any post or content that's posted to Reddit, ads can be upvoted and downvoted as well. So it's interesting. The way that they provide the advertising platform is kind of interesting. And so it's based on the overall buy-in for ads that particular day. Okay, so you don't really have an understanding or a great idea about what percentage of the impressions on Reddit you're going to get, but you can basically place a bid from anywhere from $20 a day to almost $10,000 a day. Bids can be placed over multiple day spans. You've got to have your ad copy and text at least 2 days prior so that the moderators on Reddit can review it. But basically, impressions are doled out by the percentage of funds allocated for ads that day. So let's say that the total amount of advertising funds contributed to Reddit that day is $100, and I submit 20. That means I'm going to get 1/5 of all the impressions. Now, if the total ad funds for the day submitted by all advertisers is $1,000 and I submit $20, then I'm going to get 2% of impressions, and so on and so on and so on. So it's an interesting way to go about gathering advertising funds and interest in the ad product. Again, they just consist of text and graphics, or just a still graphic image. Ads can link to your website or a subreddit that you manage, and they can receive upvotes and comments, as we said. All the impressions, clicks, and interactions are tracked in a handy little dashboard on Reddit. That's all we know about Reddit, but please feel free to ask questions in the comments below. Thanks so much.